Alright, let's dive into something that's got the political world buzzing right now, the Michigan Democratic Senate primary. But before you think this is just another election update, let me tell you, this one's a powder keg of ideology, identity, and the future of the Democratic Party. Seriously, if you're into politics, this is like watching a live debate between the soul of a party and its survival instincts. Here's the deal, Haley Stevens, the establishment-backed congresswoman, is going head-to-head with Abdul El-Sayed, the left-wing insurgent. And what makes this really interesting is that it's not just about Michigan, it's a microcosm of the national Democratic divide. First, let's talk about the stakes. Michigan is a swing state, right? It's like the political equivalent of a mood ring, it changes colors depending on the national vibe. In 2020, it went for Biden, but in 2024, it flipped to Trump. So, whoever wins this primary isn't just fighting for a Senate seat, they're fighting for the party's ability to reclaim ground in a state that could decide the next presidential election. Personally, I think this is where the rubber meets the road for Democrats. If they can't win here, where can they win? Now, let's break down the candidates. Haley Stevens is the safe bet, the centrist, the one with the endorsements from big names like Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She's pitching herself as the candidate who can save manufacturing jobs, a huge deal in Michigan, and take on Trump ally Mike Rogers in November. But here's the thing, her campaign has gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Her Midwestern accent, which should be a point of pride, has become a meme. And her response? She called out coastal elites for making fun of Michigan. Honestly, I think that's a smart move. It's a way to rally the base and say, hey, we're not just flyover country. On the other side, you've got Abdul El-Sayed, who's basically the anti-establishment candidate. He's 41, the son of Egyptian immigrants, and if elected, he'd be the first Muslim senator in U.S. history. That's huge. But what's even more fascinating is his platform, Medicare for all, taxing billionaires, abolishing ICE. These are policies that resonate with a lot of voters, especially younger ones and working-class folks who feel left behind. One thing that immediately stands out is how he's framing this as a fight for everyday people. He's not just talking about policies, he's talking about dignity and survival. But here's where it gets tricky. El-Sayed's not a socialist, he's quick to reject that label, but he's taking cues from democratic socialists like Zoran Mamdani. And that's a smart strategy, in my opinion. He's trying to bridge the gap between the progressive wing and the broader electorate. The question is, can he pull it off? Because while progressives have been winning primaries this summer, they've struggled to win over the working-class voters who swung to Trump in 2024. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Israel. El-Sayed has been vocal about U.S. aid to Israel, calling it a genocide in Gaza. Stevens, on the other hand, is staunchly pro-Israel, even earning a rebuke from Netanyahu himself. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just a foreign policy issue, it's a local one. Michigan has the second largest Arab American population in the U.S., and this issue could swing votes. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a perfect example of how global politics intersects with local elections. So, what does this all mean for the Democratic Party? Personally, I think this primary is a referendum on the party's identity. Do they double down on centrism and electability, or do they embrace bold progressive ideas? Stevens represents the former, El-Sayed the latter. But here's the kicker, neither side can afford to alienate the other. If Stevens wins, she'll need to bring progressives into the fold. If El-Sayed wins, he'll need to prove he can win over moderates. This raises a deeper question. Can the Democratic Party unite, or is it too fractured? From my perspective, this primary is a test of whether the party can hold together under pressure. And with the midterms just around the corner, the clock is ticking. So, what do you think? Is this primary a sign of things to come, or just a blip in the political cycle? Let me know in the comments. And if you're in Michigan, go vote, because this one's going to shape the future of the Democratic Party, whether you like it or not.